Reality is not something to be conquered. It is something to be reflected. Change the state, and the mirror of life will change with you. Neville Goddard. Have you ever found yourself waiting for something to change? Waiting for the answer. Waiting for the money to come. Waiting for the call. Waiting for a sign from the universe. Waiting, and waiting, as if your life is on standby, paused in some invisible limbo, as if the world needs to deliver something first before you can start truly living. But Neville Goddard never taught us to wait. He taught us to create. And that's the first great shift when you awaken to the power of consciousness. You're not here to react to life. You're here to project it. And every projection begins within. The reality you see out there is only a reflection of the state you dwell in internally. Not what you wish for, but what you feel yourself to be. You can spend years declaring abundance, love, freedom. But if deep inside you vibrate with doubt, lack, or powerlessness, that will be the energetic signature life reflects back at you. Because the universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your state. And your state may be silent, but energetically, it screams. It's how you feel when no one's watching. It's how you react when the bill arrives. When someone ghosts you. When the opportunity slips by and you whisper, "See, nothing ever works out for me." That internal state is the code that commands your reality. And here's the most freeing and most uncomfortable truth. You can choose your state. Yes, choose it. No matter what's happening outside, you can always pause and ask, what state am I in right now? Am I expecting or creating? Am I fearing or trusting? Am I doubting or knowing? Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not the wish on its way, but the wish already done. That is the master key. Stop waiting to feel prosperous. Feel prosperous now. Stop begging for love. Vibrate as someone deeply loved now. Stop chasing signs. Become the living sign. Because here's the brutal truth. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And what you are right now is your state. And no, this isn't pretending. It's not delusion. It's not self-deception. It is conscious creation. Because if you don't choose the state chooses you. And the state that chooses you is often inherited from your past. Old experiences, unhealed traumas, limiting beliefs repeated since childhood. You think you're just living life. But really, you're repeating patterns, cycles, states. Neville didn't teach us to memorize affirmations. He didn't say, repeat, I'm rich, 1,000 times. He said, feel it as true, even before any outer proof appears. Because when you change your state, the proof follows. Have you noticed how, when you're in a joyful state, things just flow? Strangers smile at you. Opportunities pop up. Even traffic seems smoother. But when you're in a state of anxiety, anger, or insecurity, everything seems to fall apart. That's not coincidence. That's consciousness in motion. Reality is responding to you, always. You are the creator. And your creation answers to your vibration, not to your desperate desires. That's why waiting is a trap. Because waiting puts you in a state of lack. And lack only creates more lack. You say, when I have the money, then I'll feel peaceful. But it's peace that opens the door to money. You say, when love arrives, then I'll believe again. But it's believing now that makes you magnetic to love. You don't receive and then feel. You feel, and then receive. That's divine order. It's the reverse path of logic, and the quantum shortcut of creation. Neville insisted, whatever you can conceive and accept as true in imagination, will manifest in your world. So the question is, are you accepting abundance as true, or still seeing it as distant? Are you embracing love as real, or still thinking it's impossible for you? Everything you accept internally materializes externally. Because life can only give you what you have already given yourself. In feeling, in frequency, in conviction. That's why, when you feel ready, things begin to happen. Not because the world finally heard your cry, but because your internal station changed. Before, your frequency said, I want. Now, it says, I am. And life responds. Always. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to scream to the universe that you're ready. Just feel it as if it's already true. Because in that state, doubt disappears. Desperation loses power. Urgency dissolves. That's when you enter the frequency of already done. And reality shifts to match. And then comes the moment most fear. What if I can't hold the state? What if I slip back? What if doubt returns? And the truth is, it will. Doubt will knock. Fear will whisper. The old identity will try to pull you back. But with awareness, everything changes. Because consciousness is light. And where light shines, darkness cannot stay. You don't have to be perfect. You only need to persist in the new state. To stand in the posture of someone who has decided. Who has chosen the frequency. And despite the noise, remains tuned to the vision. It's a practice. A process. A sacred commitment. To close your eyes and declare within, I choose now to be what I wish to experience. Not later. Not when the world approves. But now. Because the external breakthrough is only the result of an internal shift. Everything begins in the unseen. Everything is born in silence. Everything responds to vibration. And that is freeing. Because it means nothing outside needs to change first. The world doesn't need to give permission. The circumstances don't need to align. The doors don't need to open from the outside. They open from within. And what happens when you stay in your new state, even in the face of contradiction? When you choose certainty, even without evidence. When you remain in the vibration of already mine, even while nothing outside has changed, the invisible begins to move. The field rearranges. The right people appear. Opportunities arise where there were only obstacles. And what seemed distant manifests. But it's not sudden. It was forming all along. In the silence of your consciousness. In the space where reality is created. Inside you. That's why Neville repeated. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe to be true. This is the difference between a beggar and a creator. The beggar hopes, waits, watches. The creator assumes, feels, moves. And you can't fake a state. You can't simulate vibration. You can't lie to your own consciousness. Life sees what's deep, not what's superficial. It answers to conviction, not appearance. It reacts to faith, not frantic effort. That's why so many feel stuck, taking action after action without results. Because they never stop to ask, who am I being? That question changes everything. Not, what do I want to have? But, who do I choose to be now? Because when the being changes, the having follows. That's the great key. Your external life is not the result of your actions, but of your vibrational identity. And identity is a choice. A choice that must be sustained, even when the world still shows the opposite. Because the world always reflects the past state of consciousness. What you see now is the echo of what you once felt. If you want to see something new, you must live in a new state now, without guarantees, without proof, trusting that reality bends to those who remain loyal to who they've chosen to be. This is where many give up. When the eyes still see the old scene. When the senses scream, nothing's changing. When the outer mocks the inner. But this is where real transformation happens. In silent persistence. Neville called it loyalty to the assumed state. It's when you stay faithful to your new identity, even without confirmation. Like someone promoted in spirit before the letter arrives. Like someone who loves before being loved back. Like someone already healed, even if pain still lingers. That loyalty is faith in motion. It's the most powerful creative act there is. It's not easy. It requires courage. It requires devotion. It requires a willingness to die to the old, so the new can be born. Because as long as you cling to what is, you cannot access what could be. As long as you analyze the current scene, you won't hold the vibration of change. The mind will demand proof. The ego will seek control. But the spirit only needs conviction. That's why manifestation often happens when surrender arrives. When you stop trying to make it happen, and simply align with what is already true in consciousness. Then, in the most unexpected moment, without struggle, without force, the external world shifts, as if it finally understood who you are. But really, you were the one who changed first. Reality is a mirror. It creates nothing on its own. It only reflects. If there is lack in the reflection, arguing with the mirror is useless. You must change what stands before it. You must change your state. And it doesn't matter how long lack has ruled, or how many times you've failed, or how deep the pain has been. The moment of change is now. The power is available in this second. Everything you seek already exists, as a latent possibility, waiting for a vibrational command, a new state of consciousness, to come alive. This is not about waiting. It's about being now the one who creates what is desired. You're not here to repeat the past. You're here to create the future. And not just any future, but one molded by conscious intent. Neville said, "Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live." That's the root of transformation. Not changing others. Not controlling the world. But redefining your own essence. Assume the new identity. Feel the new state. Persist in the chosen truth. And allow life, with all its intelligence, to reshape your world around who you've decided to be. Stop waiting. Start creating. Reality obeys your state.